So last month, the Canadian Foreign Minister issued a tweet calling for the release of 2 activists who'd been detained in Saudi Arabia. And the Saudi reaction was fierce.
Yes.
Tom Friedman called it an absurd overreaction. Others have said it was quite out of line. The Saudis, you pulled your students from Canada, people receiving medical treatment, diplomats, froze airlines. It's been a deep freeze between the 2 countries. Chrystia Freeland, the foreign minister, was here yesterday and said you two have been talking. I just wonder if you could comment on where you see that dispute, how it's evolving, how it will be resolved, and also talk about human rights in Saudi Arabia, which she's not the only one to have raised concerns about crackdowns on activists broadly.
Yes, 2 things. The students are in Canada until we can find a place to move them, so we didn't pull out the students. The patients, we don't have patients in Canada. I believe there were only 2.
Okay.
So that's exaggeration. We stopped new investment in Canada, and we stopped new Canadian investment in Saudi Arabia, and we stopped airline traffic to Canada, and we asked Canada to take their ambassador back, and we recalled our ambassador, but we didn't cut relations. It is outrageous, from our perspective, that a country will sit there and lecture us and make demands. We demand the immediate release. Really, we demand the immediate independence of Quebec. We demand the immediate granting of equal rights to Canadian Indians. What on earth are you talking about? You can criticize us about human rights. You can criticize us about women's rights. America does. State Department issues reports every year. British Parliament does. European Parliament does. French Parliament does. German government does. Others too. That's right. That's your right. We can sit down and talk about it. But we demand the immediate release. What are we, a banana republic? Would any country accept this? No, we don't. You do this, you play into the hands of the extremists who are opposing our reform process. If we don't take steps, it means that we're weak. If we take steps, we damage a relationship with a friendly country. We didn't do this. You did. Fix it. Fix it. You owe us an apology. You can talk to us about human rights anytime you want. We'd be happy to have that conversation like we do with all of our allies. But lecturing us? No way. Not going to happen. And enough is enough. We don't want to be a political football in Canada's domestic politics. That's what we became. Find another ball to play with, not Saudi Arabia. And that's why the reaction in our country was so strong. Very easy to fix. Apologize. Say you made a mistake. We had the Canadian ambassador. He met with our public prosecutor, who explained to him what the charges are and said to him, this is not about rights. This is about national security. These were individuals who are accused of taking money from governments, accused of recruiting people to obtain sensitive information from the government and passing it on to hostile powers, accused of raising money and providing it to people who are hostile to Saudi Arabia outside of Saudi Arabia. Some of them were released as the investigation proceeded. Others will go to trial, and the evidence will be revealed to the world. So the Canadians knew this was not about rights. This was about national security. And then for a tweet like this to come out in this manner, from our perspective, is outrageous.